Howdy. My face hurts. For one, everybody who's watched my channel already will notice the new holes in my face, my new bling I got going on. So, in summary, probably like a week after I had started doing the whole YouTube thing, after I had posted my first detransition video, I had only like 50 or 60 followers on Instagram because I really didn't do social media, and I didn't really follow anybody else either. And then I had gained in about a week like 800 or so followers. So I was at 800 followers or so on Instagram, and then I said, hey, and I posted a video on there, and I was like a little short clip, and I said, hey, I am at like 800 followers right now, and you guys are following super quick. Once I hit 5,000 followers, I'm gonna let you guys vote on whichever facial piercing I get. I'm gonna let you guys choose. And that's what I did on my Instagram, because I knew I wanted a facial, like a piercing, but I just didn't know what I wanted. So, yeah, I was just kind of wanting some additional help. So I basically let everybody on Instagram vote on which facial piercing that they wanted me to get. And all of them, well, not all, but the majority voted for septum. And septums are nice, but I mean, you know, like, I feel like everybody and their dog has a septum piercing. But so I wanted something a little bit different. And I think just last night, I hit 5,000 followers on Instagram. And so this morning, I woke up and I was like, ooh, I want to get like a whole bunch. Like, I'll still get the septum, but I like the look of like the lip piercings and everything like that. And so I was like, I'm gonna get it, like a whole bunch of them. And then at first I thought I was gonna get like 5 of them at once, because I wanted to film it. I wanted to get like 5 piercings at once and film the whole thing and then post it on YouTube. But due to this whole illness thing, of course, only one person is allowed back there, and that's me, who's getting pierced. And a lot of the shops I called that were close to me didn't allow film or photos being taken. And so that was kind of out. And I was like, well, if I'm not going to post it, then I think I'll just wait to get the other 2. Won't just torture myself and get them all at once. So I still got the 3 at once, but I didn't get the double nostrils like I thought I was going to. I'm probably going to wait on those. But yeah, I walked in, I told her, I was like, ooh, I want to get like 3 piercings. Like, how many can I do? And she's like, well, I mean, we usually only allow 5, but I mean, as many as your heart desires, you know? And I was like, ooh, okay. And so I walked in and I was like, I'm gonna get all 3. And it was rough, let me tell you. Just to summarize, getting 3 piercings at once, it was fine. And like, I've gotten obviously lots of tattoos before, and I've gotten some scarification, so I've gotten like my tattoos burned off before too. So I'm not a stranger to things hurting like a bitch, right? So she does the first one, my labret, and that one hurt like a bitch, but it wasn't that bad, right? And then we got this one done, and I told her, it's like, hey, if we can just pop these out, you know, like, quick, that would be great. Because especially when I'm doing my tattoos, it's not that I don't like taking breaks, but I prefer not to. Because if I am sitting for like 3 or 4 hours getting tattooed, you know, eventually it kind of goes a little bit numb, or you get used to it. And then as soon as I take a break, I feel like all of that almost adrenaline that I'm feeling when I'm getting it tattooed almost wears off. And when after the break, when I go back in to tattoo it, it almost feels like it hurts more, because I feel like it's going back in and I've calmed down. So I prefer not to take breaks. So I was like, okay, let's just bust these out real fast, you know, no breaks. And so she did my labret, and then she got the clamps, and she was about to do my Medusa. And then she went underneath and was gonna go up, and then she pushes it. And keep in mind that this is a good shop, you know, it wasn't, I just have a really thick lip apparently or something, but she goes up and then she pushes it, and I hear it pop, and it really fucking hurt. And then I hear it go halfway through, or I feel it, and then like it still hurts, like it hasn't gone through it. And I was like what's going on, right? And so she like is struggling, and she's shoving this thing, and I'm like, good God, this fucking hurts, because it's not going through. Like, it's just not piercing all the way through. And it took like 5 or 6 seconds of her just trying so hard, shoving it to get it all the way through my lip. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this hurts. And eventually she pops it through and it goes all the way through. And then she gets the jewelry in, and putting the jewelry in, that stuff's a walk in the park. That stuff's a piece of cake. That doesn't hurt. But just the Medusa was really rough because it just took so long, so much of her just straight shoving, and it wasn't going through. And that one just, I mean, you know, if anybody who's ever gotten a lip piercing, you know, especially if you've done it yourself, you can kind of feel the pop and the tearing as you're going through the layers of your skin. And it was like that. I could feel it, like pop, 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 but it just wasn't fast or smooth or painless like I wanted it to be. But anyways, we got that one done, and then she did that, and I'm like, holy shit, that was rough. And that kind of made me nauseous a little bit, I won't lie. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to say, but so second piercing down, and then I'm feeling a little bit nauseous because that last one, the Medusa, just like, holy shit, like that wasn't pleasant at all, her not being able to get it all the way through. So I'm sitting there, I was like, oh, I was like, just give me a minute before we do the septum, all right? And then I wait a little bit. And at first I was worried because I had gotten nauseous and I was feeling like I was getting a little lightheaded. And when I got my scarification done, after I did the wrist part, because I have a wrist and then, or the thumb, and then I have the wrist done. And after I did the thumb, we took a break right before we started on this one. And I said, I'm gonna walk outside and get some fresh air because I wanted, you know, to, I don't know, get fresh air or whatever, take a break. And so I got off the chair. So at the time for this one, I was sitting down. And when I went outside, I felt the same kind of, that time it was much worse. Like I had gotten up, and as soon as I got outside, like I went the whole like black curtain, my vision started going, and I started feeling really lightheaded and nauseous too. I didn't pass out, but I almost did that time. And so when I was in the piercing shop and I started to feel a little nauseous and lightheaded, and I was like, oh shit, do not pass out, do not pass out. Though I am alone in there, what am I gonna do if I pass out? Like that would be so embarrassing. And so in order to spare myself the humiliation of passing out, she asked me if I wanted to lay down for a bit, and I was like, sure. Like my vision wasn't going dark. I just felt lightheaded and I was starting to get dizzy, and I knew that, or I felt like it was coming. And then I laid down for a bit, and as soon as I laid down, I felt like 100 times better. But I basically laid down and I talked like a shit ton. I told her about my other piercings and tattoos, like keep my mind going. And that, I will admit, that was embarrassing that I couldn't just speed right through them, because I mean, I always kind of have, like I get like 6 to 8 hour sessions in tattoos with, you know, like it's nothing. And I've gotten plenty of piercing before. Hell, when I was 14, probably 14 to 16, I pierced my own lips probably, I don't know, 10 times, not exaggerating, in my aunt's bathroom with a sewing needle. And it was dirty, disgusting. It was horrible. I never should have done that. But, there's a little doggy outside. But, yeah, so it's not like I hadn't pierced myself before. And so I've had piercings, and mind you, that was just with me holding my lip, like, and then going underneath and just pushing it myself. And I had done that, like, almost when I was bored in my spare time, but it never stuck because it was a sewing needle, of course, and as soon as I got the needle through, it wasn't hollow, so I'd have to take it out and then try to fit the piercing in there real quick. And I think I got it through probably once or twice, but it took like 10 minutes for me to try and get it in there, and by that time it was already starting to close up anyways. So it's not like I haven't gotten piercings before. But anyways, I have to sit down a little bit, and then eventually I give myself a couple of minutes. She gives me a juice box, and I was like, ooh, take me a Capri Sun, why not? And then I drink my juice, and then I sat up, and I was like, okay, I can't bitch out. And she's like, do you want to wait until tomorrow and like come back and get it? And then I was like, no waiting till tomorrow. I'm doing this now. I paid for it. I paid for a septum. I said I was gonna get a septum. I'm getting 3 at once. I can't bitch out now. So I basically, you know, I took some time and then I sat back up and then we did it. And actually, after I had gotten these two and just waited a little bit longer, the septum was almost kind of nothing. I mean, when people say that the clamps hurt worse than the actual piercing. I wouldn't say it hurts worse, but they're kind of on par. So if you can imagine what, like, some clamps, like, take some tweezers or something and pinch really hard on your nose, and probably as hard as you can pinch is as painful as the piercing is gonna be, because the piercing itself wasn't more painful, I think, or that not that much more painful than the clamps that they use. So if that kind of gives you an idea of how painful a septum is, like these two, my lips were more of like a really harsh pressure with her putting it down, and they hurt, but the septum was more of like a really sharp pain. But I mean, that one wasn't really painful that much. I mean, it made my eyes water, but I mean, I didn't start crying or whatnot. I blinked it away, but yeah, it made my eyes water. But really, I mean, if you can imagine kind of how hard and how much the clamps themselves would hurt, the actual piercing doesn't really hurt much more than that. Because I was wondering, I was like, ooh, septum's gonna be rough, because I had pierced my lips before, and I was like, oh, the lips ain't gonna hurt. But actually, the Medusa was probably the worst. But yeah, so I got my piercings done. I noticed in the comments of my last video, because I showed y'all my natural hair, and y'all were like, Cyberpunk 2077. Well, how cyberpunk do I look now that I have a shit ton of piercings? I want more though. I do. Not too many more. I still want to get like my nostril done, or maybe just a double nose on one side, or the doubles there. I don't know yet. I kind of want to go back for an industrial, but that one would probably be really rough. So yeah, I'd probably honestly just bust out all the ear piercings in one session. I hope. Because I mean, ears, I mean, the cartilage would be rough, but I mean, just the bottoms, especially if it's just through the little flappy bits, those don't really hurt that bad. I've done those myself before too. So I was honestly kind of tempted just to order some like piercing needles and the jewelry and like sterilize everything myself at home and just do all the piercings myself, because then I could record it and post it on YouTube. But I was like, well, I could, but especially if I'm gonna keep these piercings for long term, I would want them professionally done. Like if I only planned on keeping them for maybe a couple of months just for looks, I'd probably just do it myself, because I don't want to pay $50 per piercing for something I'd only keep for maybe a couple of months. But no, these are, sorry, these are staying for the long haul, hopefully. But yeah, there's a little short update, a piercing story time, which was, yeah, the Medusa. The Medusa was rough, I will tell you. I think I've definitely got to cosplay somebody now that I've got piercings in my hair. I don't know. I've got to definitely play Cyberpunk 2077. Now, officially, I have to. And speaking of video games, I got my Ryzen, my processor. It came in the mail. And I was like, whoa. It's nice and hefty and schmexy, and it is an AMD Ryzen processor, high performance, Wraith Prism thermal solution, and install instructions. I don't know if that actually makes any sense whatsoever. It's a 3rd gen, I think it's the Ryzen 7. It was a really good one, but so yeah, that's another part down for my setup. I have the storage, got the Samsung, the 1 terabyte, and then I got the 32 gigabytes of memory, and now I have my Ryzen processor, and also I got the Windows 64-bit Windows 10. Why could I not think of that? I don't know, I'm tired. But I got the Windows setup thing for the computer, now I got this, and I'm just waiting for the motherboard, I think, is coming in on the 12th or the 13th, if I'm remembering correctly. I got that one in, and I think everything else is coming in sooner than that too. So, yep, and hopefully by the end of this week, next week at the latest, I will start building everything, putting everything together. But yeah, I got that coming in. One of the parts is gonna take a while to come in, I think, because it was, I don't think it was available yet. I think it wasn't released. It was a Samsung thing. I think one of their solid state drives or something. It was, I think it was really new, and it said it was being released like on the 15th or something. So yeah, that's coming in, but yeah, I gotta clean up my messy apartment, and then I'll be shooting everything, and then hopefully I'll have a video uploaded about the PC build for you guys, and then I can show you all the specs, all my supercharged, overloaded computer that I can't wait to actually mess around with. But yeah, that's computer update down. I bought a straw. Can you believe it? I bought a legitimate straw, you guys, because as I was going home, sipping my Starbucks, my frickin' metal labret kept like knocking around on the straw, and I had to like, or on the can, and so I had to use a straw. I take it back, it wasn't a Starbucks, it was a Red Bull. I had a Red Bull can that I was trying to drink, but my piercing was just driving me nuts. So I got a reusable straw, and I'm just gonna sip it from the side now, which I don't know if it'll be fine or if it'll drive me nuts, but we'll have to see. I feel like there's a lot of shit with these piercings that I'm just gonna have to get used to. But yeah, my 3 piercings at once, because all my Instagram followers wanted it. So yeah, that's the update. Thanks for watching this random ass video, but thanks, see ya.